Hello everyone, welcome to the class, and this is our third class on punctuation marks, and it's going to be final class on punctuation marks. Okay, so let's see if we can cover. If anything would be remaining, then we would cover it through GCR, or maybe we would conduct another Zoom class. Okay, so let's see. And we had left, I think, with colon, right? So I'll jump to the colon. Okay, who would like to read, please? Raise your hands. Everybody, please participate actively, and your hands are very important for me. Okay, Shanila, go ahead.
A colon is used in sentence to introduce a list or draw attention to information that follows. Colon are also used between the number in time.
Okay, very good. Now, everybody, pay attention to the things here. A colon is used in a sentence to introduce a list. Okay, remember this. Everybody knows that what is a list, or draw attention to information that follows. Okay, so we can also give information, and if we want someone to pay particular attention to the information that we write or that follows, then we give colon. Okay, colons are also used between the numbers in time. Okay, everybody knows that when time, for example, if you have digital watches and if you see time on the watch, on the digital watch, it would show you time, and there would be a colon in them. Okay, in the time. Let's see, we would discuss all of these things. Shanila, go ahead and read this sentence.
To introduce a list, example, motorcycles are used for the following reason: transportation and recreation and racing and event.
Okay. Now see, there is colon. So here you see a colon. Now here you see a space. It's a mistake. Okay. So you don't have to give here a space. Okay. And here one more space you see also, but you would put your colons right here after A's. Okay. So here, and then you would start give a little one space only. Here you see two spaces on computer I have given, but you would give only one space. Okay. So this is a colon, and see, this is a list of items. Okay, transportation, recreation, and racing events. Now these three things I have, and I have a list. Okay, list of three things. So when you give when you have a list, you know that comma separates the each item. And also remember that when you have a list, you would give a colon as well. Okay, everybody, remember, if you are writing in any exam, any CRQ or ERQ, or if you're writing any essay or letter, if you have a list, okay, and list can be, say, nouns or adjectives or phrases or sometimes sentences. Okay, so a list of sentences can come also. For example, if I say, when I came to college, I took my laptop out of my bag, I turned on the lights, and I started teaching. Now see, these are sentences, and it's a list of sentences. Here I can also use colon, and I can use a comma to separate my sentences. Okay, so remember that we have discussed this thing when we discussed usages of comma. That comma can come in this way when you have a list. List can be of say things, things meaning nouns, or it can be phrases as well, or even sentences. Okay, so let's move. Now this is colon. Okay, you see here colon. Shanila, go ahead and read this.
Example, dear Miss Praise.
Yes. Now see, after a salutation, Now you know that there are formal letters and there are informal letters. In ninth class, you have learned informal letters. So in informal letters, mostly you give a comma. Comma is a very dynamic punctuation mark. It can come in formal sometimes and sometimes in informal. But if we talk about pure formal letters, then it is preferred to use a colon in salutations in formal letters, okay, in business letters. So I, for example, I'm teaching in a metric class and I have taught them formal letters because in metric class there are formal letters, business letters, okay, letters that we write to officials. Now I have told them that you can use a comma there also, but see, your assessor would be happy if he sees a colon there. Colon is used particularly for formal letters, for formal emails, okay. So here in the salutations you can use a colon, okay. And see, this is the abbreviation and we learned that periods are used in abbreviations, okay. So let's move now. Shanila, can you read this?
Between numbers and time. Example, there has been at
Yes, can you read again? Your voice is not stable.
between numbers and
Mhm.
between numbers and time. Example, the race being at 1:30 p.m.
Okay, good. Now see here, the colon, this is the colon and it's in the numbers, okay, between numbers and time. So this is time 1:30 and you see that there is a colon. As I told you, if you can see on your watch, if it's a digital watch, you would see a colon in between, okay. Okay, now I think we have reached the ending of the, and there would maybe a quiz. Let's see. Well, I hope you learned how to use punctuation marks in their names. But before we finish here, let's see if you can correct what I wrote on the board at the beginning. Now, meaning here we have to go for the quiz, okay? And still some of the things are remaining, okay, like ellipses, usages of ellipses. I'll take you to another screen to teach you some of the usages of some other punctuation marks, okay. So whatever punctuation marks we have discussed so far are not the only punctuation marks in the English language, okay. So there are some more and we would discuss some more in this class. If we couldn't, then we would discuss in another Zoom class, okay. Let's see. Now we would take a quiz. Are you ready to correct? Begin. Now everybody read this and you have to understand, you have to guess what punctuation mark would come where, okay. Now everybody, your hands should be up. I'll ask you what would come, okay. If you see, let's start from here. Good morning class. Now if you think that there should be any punctuation marks, raise your hand and I would give you a chance. You have to suggest to me what would come and where it would come, what punctuation mark would come and where it would come. Read the whole thing. Okay, Gulam Shabir, tell me, what do you think? What punctuation mark should come and where it should come?
Sir, good morning. After good morning class, there should be exclamation mark.
Okay, okay, you think there should be, here it should be exclamation mark. Good morning, class. Here, exclamation mark.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Now, Samavya, what's your thought? If you feel the same way, go ahead and. Abdul Rafi, I did not ask you. It's not the way. Please keep yourself on mute and raise your hand if you want to say something. Samavya, go ahead.
I wanted to say the same, that
Okay.
exclamation mark would come after good morning class.
Okay, now read the next sentence, Samavya, and tell me what punctuation mark would come and where it would come.
Today we're going to study punctuation marks. In After today, comma will come, and
Okay.
then in were we'll put apostrophe. We
Oh,
are.
okay, very good. Okay, you got it. Okay, so it's not were, it would be we
We
are.
are.
We are, right? So contracted form of we are, it would be we are. Okay, meaning here it's
Were.
apostrophe. Okay, very good. Okay, And now, anybody else? If you have to say something, if you have to suggest me any punctuation mark, raise your hand. Okay, Gulam Shabir, do you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We are going to study punctuation marks. After punctuation mark, there should be full stop, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, here it should be a period. Okay, a full stop. Okay. Anybody else? Now let's move to the other sentence. And who would tell me what would come there? And who would read that sentence? Let me take the names of those students who are in the class and are just silent. Okay, so I will have to take their names so that they can, be a little more active. Abdul Rafi, Nigat, Rafi, Sajjad, Shenila. Shenila participated. I have not given her chance myself now. Okay, Abdul Rafi, go ahead. Tell me. Yes, Rafi, go ahead. Okay, Nigat, would you suggest any punctuation mark? Okay, Samavia, you go ahead.
After punctuation marks, there will be full stop. Then I have some assistants who will be helping with today's lesson. I have some assistants. Then there will come comma.
Okay, start again from here. Okay, I have some assistants. Yes.
Who will be helping with today's lesson.
Okay.
There will come comma.
Where?
Today after some assistants.
Let me. After some assistants, here would be a comma. You are saying comma.
Yes.
Okay, and yes.
And after so.
Okay, here there would be a comma. Asha, do you see here in this word something?
Yes, apostrophe in today's.
Okay, here apostrophe. Okay, good. And
Helping with today's lesson.
mm-hmm.
So I'm confused that before so or after so there should be a comma, but where?
Okay, so here it would come before the word so. Okay, so here. Okay, so let's
Start.
start. So
Here a period,
okay,
and then in ready, set, go, we will put an exclamation mark at last.
here we would put only exclamation mark or somewhere else as well. What do you think?
No, only here
Okay,
or with.
so one punctuation, one exclamation mark we would put here. Anybody else? Please suggest if you agree with Samavia. Gulam Shabir, go ahead.
Sir, I have some assistants who will be helping me with today's here apostrophe and today's lesson. After lesson, there is a comma. So let's start. Let's start. There is exclamation mark. After ready, set, go, and after go there is also another exclamation mark.
Okay. Anybody else? You have any idea? Acha, now here you are getting something wrong. Okay, you are not getting there. There I have tricked you. Okay, so pay attention. There is signal. There is a clue. Okay, there are two clues. Maybe three clues are there. Yes, Samavya, can you think? Acha, I'll limit you to. I'll make it very precise for you. Now pay attention to these three words. There is some clue. There are some clues.
Ex-
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yes.
I think only exclamation mark will come after go.
Only one would come there. Gulam Shafi, what do you say? How many exclamation marks can we put there?
Sir, ready, set. I think three.
Okay, very good. Now you see that this is a complete sentence. It can be, meaning a complete thought. Ready, right? Said,
Yes, sir.
because see, these are capital letters, right?
Of course, sir. Of course. That's why I understood.
Okay, good. Samavya, now do you agree with Ghulam Shabir?
Meaning three exclamation marks in one sentence.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see if any.
Sir,
Okay.
mostly in the racist situation, these
Sorry.
kind of words are used.
Ah, exactly, exactly. Yes, in races.
Sir, in races,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it. Okay. Any still, if you have any suggestions, if you feel any a punctuation mark. Actually, now some of you read with the punctuation form. Meaning with following natural pauses. Consider there. If you would read this and there are no punctuation marks, definitely you would not stop anywhere, right? So I want you to read first. With one breath, as long as you can read, and when once you are out of breath, then you would stop there. And in second time you have to follow punctuation marks, and let's see if you can read naturally. Read.
Good morning, class. Today we're going to study punctuation marks. I have some assistants who will be helping with today's lesson. So let's start. Get ready, set, go.
Okay, see, very unnatural, right? We would never say something like this. Now try to use the punctuations. Yes.
Good morning, class. Today we are going to study punctuation marks. I have some assistants who will be helping with today's lesson. So let's start. Ready, set, go.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's now see if you were correct. Okay. Now see, these are what you should have told me, and I think you were correct. You told me this way. Everything you got, correct. Okay, everybody, those of you who are silent in the class, look at the uh, text and see that without punctuation marks, it was, incorrect. It was, not in order, not connected, not kind of, natural language. But here you see that everything is smooth now. Everything is going smoothly, and we can understand. For example, without punctuation marks, this was were, and were is another word in English language, and it was making confusion, right? So with proper punctuations, our message is clear to the reader. Okay, so now here is the time to again, understand the importance of punctuation marks. That if you write without punctuation marks, or if you use punctuation marks incorrectly, then your message is going to be vague, unclear. Okay, you would confuse the reader. So if you are following proper rules of punctuation marks and you are using punctuation marks, your message would be clear and the reader would understand what you really meant. Otherwise, something that you have in your mind and what you have written on the paper, your paper might not actually tell what you have in your mind. Okay, so everybody, now I'll take you to another screen for some more punctuation marks like ellipses, em dashes, okay, and en dashes. There are many others. Okay, so wait a minute, I'll shift you to another screen now. Okay, so let's read this also. Well, kids, hope you learned your lesson, and if you have any trouble with punctuation marks, you can always visit the library and log on to the internet. You'll find lots of sites explaining the use of each punctuation. See you soon. Bye. Okay, so see, this cartoon is saying you, telling you or suggesting you something very important, that always visit the internet. Okay, log on to the internet. So I'm going to log on to the internet, and let's find the usages of em dashes, en dashes, and ellipses, and some more punctuation marks. Okay, so wait a minute and I'll try to take you to another screen. Okay, everybody, can you see the new screen now?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay. And let's see what punctuation marks we have discussed. We have discussed period, we have discussed question mark, we have discussed exclamation point. Did we discuss quotation marks? I think not. Samavya?
No.
No. Okay, so we
Yes,
will
sir.
discuss, uh, did we discuss quotation marks in detail? No?
In detail, no, but we
And in
discussed it
detail,
in
not yet.
introduction.
Okay, we would discuss these in detail. So let's see, we would start from here. Let's read. And I think we will have to take another Zoom class, though it's third class, and I tend to end the topic within 3 classes. But let's see, if we would have to prolong, then we would prolong it. Okay. So here are some other things that I want to discuss, like quotation marks, ellipses, and here these are very interesting things. Okay, en dash and em dash. Okay, and I would also tell you that this is a website. Okay, the punctuation guide. If you would type in Google the punctuation guide, you would be given a link, and then you can visit it on your own as well. So maybe I would leave it to you, and I would tell you the website. I would give the link in your Google Classroom of this website. So whatever would be remaining, you can cover it yourself. What do you suggest, Samavya? Would it be better?
It would be better, I think, as we can as we should study ourselves punctuations.
Okay, so you feel that you would be able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Samavya, go ahead and read the text on the screen.
Quotation marks. Quotation marks are primarily used to indicate material that is being reproduced word for word, as well as some other important uses. Quotation marks and adjacent punctuation. Though not necessarily logical, the American rules for multiple punctuation with quotation marks are firmly established. See here for a brief explanation of a British
No,
style.
don't read this. Read from here.
Commas and periods that are part of overall
Yes.
and part of original quotations. The best investments today, quotation marks. According to Smith, quotation marks are commodities and emerging market stocks, quotation marks. Incorrect. The best investments today, comma, according to Smith, comma, quotation marks are commodities and emerging market stocks,
Okay,
quotation
Samaya,
marks.
wait a minute here. Everybody pay attention to this information. It's very important, okay? So see, commas and periods that are part of the overall sentence go inside the quotation marks. Okay, remember that they would always go inside, as I have already told you. See here the period, and see here a comma. Okay, so these are part of the sentence. So they would definitely go inside the quotation marks. We have to lock the actual words after these punctuation marks. Okay, so every sentence should have some ending punctuation mark, right? So if sentence is incomplete or it is connected to another sentence, then still, things have to we have to follow the rules of the punctuation. So it's also rule to end the sentences with punctuation marks. So our quotation marks would come after these punctuation marks. Okay, so for example, here you see this punctuation mark, this period is after the quotation mark. It's incorrect. How many of you understand this rule? Please understand it and give me a signal by raising your hand. Do you understand this? Raise your hands, everybody. Now many people have confusion, and I see many students, they lock the information and then they put the punctuation mark. So remember that it's not correct. Okay, it's incorrect. It would be incorrect. Okay, and here there is
So why?
see, read this. Commas and periods are the part of the overall sentence. Okay, overall sentence. They have, for example, if you let's see. Now here you see, according to Smith, meaning who is saying this thing. Here I broke the sentence. Here you see the sentence is broken. If I make it the whole sentence, the best investments today are commodities and emerging market stocks. Now this is the whole sentence, and it should have a punctuation mark, right? It should have a punctuation mark, right?
Yes, sir.
Now it's a longer sentence. Now
Yes, sir.
when we write longer sentences, we try to tell earlier that who is telling this, who is saying this. So here, that's why we have given here the name according to Smith, meaning Smith is saying this. I'm not saying this. The best investments today according to Smith, are commodities and emerging market stocks. Now here you see that I broke the sentence, and it, I had to put here a comma, and here you see quotation marks because these are not my words. Okay, and then I'm quoting, I'm telling who has said this thing. Then here, again my word starts. These are not words of Smith. According to Smith, meaning I'm telling somebody that Smith said this thing, and then again actual words start. Okay, then I again start the comma,
Okay.
quotation marks. Okay, so here it's not that that difficult. You just have to naturally understand that every sentence must have its punctuation, a set of punctuation marks, right? If in
Okay.
a sentence there is abbreviations, then you would follow the rules of abbreviations. If there is, say, if you are showing position, then there you have to follow the rules of position, punctuation. Okay, and if there is an explanation, all these things you would follow the rules. Quotations play a part that they tell you that whose words are, that these are not your words, these are the words that you are quoting, and these quoted words are of someone else. Okay, now
Yes,
here
sir.
there is an exception. Samavya, go ahead and read this.
Unless they are part of original quotation, all marks other than commas or periods are placed outside the quotation marks.
Yes, now read.
Correct. She provides a thorough list of problems in her most recent article, Misery in Paradise. She doesn't provide a solution.
Now see.
Incorrect.
Hmm.
She provides a thorough list of problems in her most recent article, Misery in Paradise. She doesn't provide a solution.
Okay, now see, unless they are part of the original quotation, okay, all marks other than commas or periods are placed outside the quotation marks. Okay, so maybe these are some advanced things, but here you should keep this thing in mind at this time. Okay, so you have to quote things. Okay, and the quoted words should have their punctuation marks, and then you have to lock the words. Okay, so uh, these things you should maybe understand on your own. If you understand it, it's okay, but maybe you would understand it when you go into the depth of writing. I never understood punctuation marks properly when I started writing myself, and my beta readers, my editors, and I myself, when I read the text naturally, many times I got different rules. Okay, and sometimes I broke the rules also, just to give a natural flow to my text. Okay, so some of you read this text now.
Correct. Wasn't it Dickens who wrote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times"? Question mark. Incorrect. Wasn't it Dickens who wrote,
Mhm.
"It was the best of times, it was the worst of times"?
So now
Question
see
mark.
here, these are the words of, say, if I am asking you this, then these are my words. Okay, so these are not words of somebody else who was talking. For example, Dickens is not saying this thing. Okay, I'm saying this thing. I'm asking that, who wrote this? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. So it's a kind of poetry. It's poem, and Dickens had written it, and I'm asking from someone. So these are my words. That's why I am putting the final punctuation mark here. I am asking this. Dickens is not asking. Dickens didn't say this. Are you getting this point?
Yes, sir. That Dickens doesn't say this, you said it.
Yes, and if you put inside, then it would be wrong, because these are not things that Dickens is asking or Dickens is saying. I'm saying it. So my sentence should have final punctuation at the end. Here, maybe
Yes,
just
sir.
consider that I am asking that this is something that was somebody else's. Okay, this thing was somebody else's. I'm quoting somebody else here. Maybe the title, maybe a phrase, something. Okay, but see, my sentence ends here. Okay. Okay. Now there are many other rules also of quotation marks, and these are some longer informations. Okay, so I'm leaving it here for you to understand. Let me check the time. Are we have we exceeded the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so everybody, let me tell you that you have to type in Google the punctuation guide, right? The exact words, the punctuation guide, and then you would come to this website. Let me tell you. Okay, I would put the link of this in your GCR. The punctuation guide, if you would just write the punctuation guide, then this website would come and then you have to understand. I wanted to cover these things, okay, EN dash and EM dash. But since we are here, we have exceeded time and it's the third class on punctuation guide, punctuation marks, okay. So something still is remaining and I want you to cover it. Okay, everybody?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming and goodbye for now.